out there. As you can see, this is a new channel, which I'll be bringing more to you in the future also. Just get that off the screen. And by the way, that music, I'll throw up random music probably before the beginning of every video because I'm not a big man on silence. That is actually a Cisco call manager music. Credits to Derek Dale, Tim Carlton, and Cisco. Got to give credits where it's due, but that's actually on their call manager little beat. Just happened to have it. Figured I'd add a little music. So from there, so all the credit for that intro basically is directly to them as far as that goes. And Cisco makes great products. We'll go ahead and throw that in there, free advertisement. They don't give me any money or anything. It'd be awesome if they did, but they don't. But I respect their stuff, and it's one of the best out in the industry. So, okay, guys, you come to this channel, or you want to understand what CompuTec is. Who is this guy? What is CompuTec? Well, CompuTec is a business that's been around for 11 years in the Georgia area, in Dublin, East Dublin areas, which is a little bit smaller town. Nothing too crazy as far as that goes. But the history of it it's been there for a while, so I wanted to come more towards the online community, and I had an idea which we will go over later. So the background is basically in about 2006 in September, CompuTec was created, and I'm one of the co-founders along with my father, our dad. And he was good at removing viruses back then, but I had these certifications. And he put a little bit of investment in there, and we kind of made it. It's kind of like, hey, let's do it. We did it, and it's here today still. But the story behind how it basically got started, we started in a really small building, small overhead. The building we were in was about 10 to 15 feet wide, and it was like deep, maybe 30 feet to probably more than that. It's probably like 50 to maybe 60 feet deep at the most, but I'd say roughly probably about 50. And it didn't have a back door to it, which is actually against fire safety. In that small building, we couldn't do much. That's pretty much how the business started out. And I won't get into too much details on the services, but basically there was so many services we could offer at that time, and we just couldn't really display a lot because obviously the space and the amount of workspace that we needed from there. So our workspace took up over half the building. If you take that down, you're down to what, about 30 to 25 feet times 10. What is that, 25 feet? So you're looking at 200 square feet maybe, or 250 square feet. Not much to display. It sounds big, but you go to a room and you think about shelves and stuff like that being up, and you start putting stuff and you want space. And people coming in the door, they still having to give out that stuff. It is not much space when you really think about it. That's kind of how it got started. So 2 years after that, a building come open, which was a video rental store, about 5 times the size of that building, if not more. And I talked to my dad, trying to convince him actually to, hey, let's move into that. He was against it, and I was for it. And we were considering it and stuff to that extent. Basically. But he really didn't want to because of the higher overhead, and I got to the point I was like, hey, this is either I say we find out if this is going to work, or we just call it quits and move on. At least we can say, hey, we took the risk, we tried, it wasn't going to work out, and that's it. So that was enough to pretty much, I think, convince them. We did it. It was a great move. We was able to display more, created more sales, created more business in general, and just more space for us to work in, so it's a little bit easier to work in and to go through from there. So that's basically, and it still stands into that building today. So the services that CompuTec offers is PC repair. We do sales. We do laptop repairs, which some of it just depends. We were doing a full range of laptop repairs, but since I'm not as active there, it's reduced to some. We're messing with tablets a little bit. We sell PCs, we sell laptops, new, used, from both ends. We have video cards, we have power supplies, we have motherboards we sell, like out there in the front. We sell a lot of stuff, Ethernet cables, networking, home networking devices. So from there, we offer little contracting services where basically, usually I'm involved setting up a network or some backup system for some kind of business of some sort. So that's pretty much the services that CompuTec offers. Some things here and there we get involved in and go from there. So with that being said, let's talk about my background. My name is actually Wade. I'm the co-founder. Like I said, my father is the other co-founder, and my mother actually runs the front desk. Them two are there. I'm not there as much, which we'll go through that. Not like I used to be. So my background is when I came out of high school, I went to a technical college. I specialized in Cisco gear. I specialized in like networking. So during the classes, I had a little bit of a bet, kind of, or an encouragement from one of my instructors at the time. He said, "You know what, Wade? If you take the A plus and you pass it, and you take the Net plus and you pass it, I'll exempt you from this class, give you a certain grade. You ain't even got to come back. I'll just mark you here." I was like, okay. So I took the Net plus first, passed it easily. You got to remember, I was already in my second. It was 4 classes of Cisco to prepare basically towards CCNA and Network Specialist Diploma is what they called it back then. So I already took 2 of those. So I already knew a lot of the basics, well above pretty much what the Net plus was. So I aced it. So I did the A plus. No classes in A plus whatsoever. Done computer repair off and on my whole life. Scored basically high enough to pass. Some of it was focused towards things that you wouldn't think it'd be focused on back then, and it was kind of weird. I think now it's a little bit better, but back then it was a little bit like, man, why did they really worry about these files? I mean, it's like not something you would see in a lot of repairs. It's not something somebody would evaluate much. But I passed it. Not as great as an A plus, but the A plus I still passed it, and I passed it by a good bit. And when I mean aced the Net plus, I mean I aced the Net plus. Like, probably didn't get but one answer wrong, if even that. Or A plus, I might have had a few here or there. It's a 2-part test, where the Net plus actually wasn't. So later on, I did those early. CCNA, I did it, passed it, and from there, I was working for a company doing IT, network, PC, over all their PCs networking, and stuff to that extent. One little place, they called it a server, but it kind of was, kind of wasn't. And then I went to Houston, Texas, and after about 3 months, I landed another IT job, which I had server access, network access, all the PCs. The guy that I worked under was never there. Once he found out the talent that he seen in me, I guess, and how quick I picked up on stuff and how well I was on top of things, he pretty much was taking off playing golf all the time. So the guy was hardly ever there. And while I was there, I mean, it was good. Only time he was there is if I was off. Very rarely were we actually both there. I was there most of the time. He was there probably about 25% of the time. Really good guy, really smart guy too, overall. He's a great boss. Also, as a work study at the college or the technical college when I was there, I learned a lot there too. I was there for about 6 months, up until I finished. And then, okay, from Houston, after being there about a year and a half, I came back to Georgia. And that's when we kind of sat down. Me and my father-in-law, let's like open this company. So we started in that small company or small building, and then we came out of small building to big one. About a year after that, I got on with the post office. The business was good. It was doubling each year, but it wasn't enough support. My dad and all the bills that they already had, and what I was, basically I was not going to be able to get out of the house that easily because I came back and I stayed with them for a while. So went to the post office working part-time and bouncing back and forth there part-time, and pretty much post office I was still considered part-time but for the last like 4 years I was there, if not 5, I was working every single day. And then at the end there, I was getting to the point I was working about 60 to 65 hours a week. It was ridiculous. And I finally quit. I was working every weekend, so on. I wasn't going to be full-time anytime soon. It was like, I'm done with this. Like, I went up, I was like, I'm completely done. I'm going back to the IT field. I'm going back, where I originally started, and I had, as far as working for companies. So I walked kind of out of that, went to a smaller job, and not long did I get right back into the IT field with a corporation, and I missed it a lot. I actually really, really enjoy it. Outside of the shop and stuff like that, in the shop from there, which I still do a lot of contract and stuff with. So basically, right now, um, I'm going actually for more certifications. Still got them three. Going for CCNP and CCIE is the ones I want to go for. I'm probably going to go ahead and do Security Plus, even though I feel like I can probably walk in and do it. I might grab a book and glance at it, and maybe Linux. I'm thinking about Linux from there. Security Plus. I don't think I ever did Server Plus. Server Plus is kind of easy, so I plan on picking up more of those, mainly for a hobby, not anything else. Like, if you see the stuff that I do, you realize that it's actually a hobby also. I mean, for instance, I'm doing this. So, what is my goal? What is the new idea that I have for CompuTec? Well, we offer all them services, but there's one thing that I've thought of, and it's been in my head for the past probably 2 years, if not more. Um, from there, realizing that, hey, I can't be as involved. My dad is there, so on from there. What is a way I can be involved? Because I just can't walk away and like go straight to that and not while we're both drawing. It just makes it tough for the amount that I make and what all I support bill wise. Not saying that the company ain't doing good. We might be one of the most profitable in our city, if not the most profitable. I feel confident that we are. There was one that was much bigger, but it was because of their internet service, and they've kind of declined over the years. So I feel we actually are the most profitable as far as repair service and stuff to that extent. So might be the only certified, to be honest. I don't know exactly. I can't speak for that, but I know where we got certifications with me being there. Definitely the lowest prices as far as I kind of stay on top of that. We've been the lowest price ever since we've opened up, and most of that's because of overhead. So what I'm aiming for, guys and girls, is I'm aiming for a service that is strictly something that I can do on the weekends, on the spare time, stuff like that. So what is a way to do that? The only way I can think of is a lot of people do not like having to unhook their computer, take it to a repair shop or computer shop, especially for some of the small stuff. And not only that, if you look from a business aspect, a lot of these smaller businesses, medium-sized business, or someone who doesn't use a lot of IT type equipment, might not want to spend the money on having a IT person from there, or they have somebody who knows a little bit, but really and truly they're doing something else, and they are kind of limited. They're limited to whatever the guy's knowledge is. I feel this service is going to be perfect for them because the service that I'm offering is going to be strictly to where I can expand across the U.S. and it's going to be basically remoting in, checking to make sure everything's fairly optimized. If any settings been crazily changed, make sure everything's good on your computer. No viruses, no nothing. Checking like once a week. Checking your equipment, make sure there ain't nothing that seems quirky as far as that, and optimizing anything that you need and answering any questions. If something comes up, you're having trouble, as long as I can remote in or get you on the phone and walk you through it, that would be the service that I basically offer. It wouldn't be high, it wouldn't be low, but it would be something. It would be like a monthly thing that would be maintained. And 1 month you might have a lot of problems. Yes, totally worth it. And you're getting way more than your money's worth. The next one you might have no problems, but I'm still remoting in once a week and checking it. So some minor problems might not ever get to the big problem, which is pretty much the goal. So for our home users, the biggest advantages is to help their security, keep from getting viruses, kind of, me keeping their stuff updated and making sure that their hard drive's running good, checking for running cleanup software, running virus scanners, and checking to make sure ain't no settings going crazy, or if they email me, taking care of any minor problems. They might be like, trying to think of a good one, like, okay, my so-and-so toolbar is missing. Well, I'd remote in, and I'd be able to fix that toolbar. If they can tell me what toolbar, I can probably get it back on there. I'd leave an email back, hey, I've found that toolbar, see if it's in the right position, does it look correct, and so on from there. Or I would call them, depending on the situation. So it'd be taking calls, emails, and stuff like that from home when I'm not working, of course. While I'm working, some of that stuff would have to hold a little bit, or I'd have somebody on the side who could take care of it, which would be the goal for the businesses. Basically, I'd have somebody on the side for the smaller businesses. If it explodes, it does well, and there is enough businesses involved and even people, I would be able to do it full time. Because the money, I think, will be there as long as I got enough people and I actually enjoy it. So that was that is where the residential people get the most advantage out of it. They don't have to worry as much about viruses. Somebody's going to be overlooking it who's an IT professional, certified. He's going to. I would type out a report probably once every week or 2 weeks of things that were done or things that I might have noticed, or saying, "Hey, your surfing's great. I didn't see anything crazy. I just ran a scan on this date, and ran so and so this day to help optimize, your speed, and I did a so and so test. Everything looks great." Small businesses, what would they gain? Small businesses, what you would gain is basically more of a IT person, someone that isn't on your payroll, but somebody you could pay and they could take care of all your needs. For example, Wade, I'm emailing you. I don't know, you know, um, I don't know what the problem is here, but our internet seems really slow. Can you check it out? Yes. I'd check it out. I'd tell them, hey, looks good, or hey, I noticed this. Your speed is fine, but I noticed this PC's got something that's uploading all the time, and this is where your issues are. Is there any reason behind this, or can I remove this? It would be something to that extent. Or it would be, they'd say, hey, Wade, so and so, I really want a IP phone system set up in my business, or I want, a nicer network with restrictions. Can you help me? Is that something you do? I would be like, yes. I'd give them an option. Hey, you buy the equipment, and I can remote in from there. Or, hey, you can buy the equipment, have it sent to my address, and, I can work on it and then send it to you, which, of course, would be a little bit more pricier. Or 3, I will buy all your stuff, and I would buy stuff that I would use, basically, or I'd recommend program, make sure everything's jiving together, all the equipment, and then basically send it to you. And you just hook it up, and it would all be the same as if it was in front of me, to that extent. So, unless there was equipment missing or there's equipment added on later on that's at their office, which I would try to recommend them ship to me. So basically, an example of that would be a company comes to me, they're a small company, and they're like, hey Wade, I want 4 new PCs, I want a IP phone system with 4 phones. I want to have a nice system. What do you recommend? I want, let's see, we got 4 PCs that I want a server, and that's it. What, anything else you think I need? Like, hey, you might want a router. We're going to need a switch with power on the Ethernet since you're using IP, and this would also give you more ports, better security, and so on from there. And they'll say, and I'll be like, this is the price you're probably looking at with these 3 options. You buy it, this is the price it would take me to set it up and send it to you. If you buy it and ship it to me, this is what it would cost for me to have it there, and ship it to you, which the services would kind of, technically you're going to come out the same, except you're paying for shipping because I'd still have to set it up if I was remoting in. And then the other one would be, hey, I buy it all, you don't have to worry about none of it. I'd tell you which equipment I'd use. You either would decline or say what you prefer, and I would go from there, and that would bring the secureness of, hey, I know I'm getting the right stuff. He's got this covered, and I know what the price is going to be, and he's going to ship it to me. And that's pretty much how that would go. I would recommend the option where basically I would, of course, buy it all and so on from there, but I know how people are, and some people might not have that money. They want to save it. I would tell them what to look for, but if they got something wrong, that's like if I told you what to do and you did it, or you bought something, then that would be kind of on you. But where if I'm buying it, it's on me. It's like, oh, they already gave me it. It would be mine. I'd have to return it. I'd have to go through that. Hope I get my money back. Go through that struggle, and so on from there. But in the other person's hands, it's going to be, a lot more. They're going to have to deal more with it. So it would be I won't say less of my time, because if it comes here, it's still going to be the same amount. If not anything, it'd actually be quicker, because I'd test it and make sure so they'd have less trouble on their end. But it would be the shipping cost and so on from there. If I was buying it or buying all the parts, of course, I'd have a little bit of time in basically buying the parts, because I'm going to usually shop for the best deal that saves them money instead of going for the highest thing. So I'm going to kind of pay for myself, if not save them money at the same time from there. So that's the services that, as CompuTec, I would like to extend to, and that's kind of the opening. I haven't come up with the packages, I haven't come up with the price. That's something that's coming up in later videos. Also on this channel, we're going to start doing videos based around IT. I'm probably going to throw a video up after this along with it. We're going to be talking about certifications. I might even walk through some of my certifications. I'm going to talk about networkings, what the advantages are, what kind of systems, phone systems, you name it, I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to tell you both sides, what I feel about everything, and some of it will be my opinion, some of it might be based on some research that I've seen and stuff like that. So keep an eye out on the channel, like, comment, send an email if you got any questions about anything, even the services. This will be something that I extend to and we'll be trying out, and basically I'd go from there. I mean, I'm going to make it super easy for the customer, and that's my goal. So I've got a lot of work already thought up and kind of done, and I'm actually in the process of testing some things, but most everything I've got worked out in the Quarks. The only thing is one thing I haven't worked out in Quarks, but I think I got something figured out, and I've just got to put more testing involved. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like I said, any questions, feel free to message. Look out for future videos. Look out for this idea and services. And the reason I'm doing these videos, I want you guys to know that, hey, this guy does know. He's worth the time. He's worth the money. He can take care of this for us, or help us out with this. And this would be a service I'd be interested in, because I think it'll pay for itself. If not, we'd gain more and save more money instead of taking it to a shop or going to hire an IT person or contract it out. I wouldn't do it unless it was the cheapest. It's a fly just landed right there. So thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, follow the channel, and you'll start to see more videos from CompuTec coming up. My name's Wade. Till next time, guys. See ya.